Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Got in the Sinbad today. Actually, I also got an Abracadabra. That'll be a video coming, and a jumping jack. That'll be a video coming. But today I'm gonna work on this. Start working on the Sinbad. This guy says it boots and plays, but it will randomly reboot, or sometimes it'll randomly register a tilt when you didn't tilt, and randomly give switch hits. It just kind of a lot of random nonsense. So it came. Had done. I've been plugged it all in, and I know that this connector here, I'm pretty sure this is one. Well, it's one of them that there's all the pins are there. You can be reversed. It looks like it goes like that, just kind of based on the muscle memory of the wires. I'd be about 90% sure, but I want to be 100% sure. So I am going to, before I turn this on, if this is the one I'm thinking of, it will fry this board if you put it in there backwards. So I'm going to make sure, and then I'm also going to somehow put a marker on the connector and on the female side of it, so that it's real obvious which way it goes. It's just a bad design to have a connector like that you could put them backwards, or just put it on there sideways like off a pin. You know, that's be real easy to do, and you start blowing stuff up because you got. I was just looking A2J1, so you got 14 volts right next to 69 volts, and if you swap these, you get the 12 volts going to the 69 and 69 going to the 12. That's not probably good for stuff. Yeah, this is what I remembered. Upside down J2, A2J1 power supply. The correct orientation, so basically says you'll mess things up. You do it backwards. There was a sticker on the game at one point. Correct orientation, red is the rightmost pin. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to mark it as such. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, was red's rightmost. And I'm just gonna put a line there and a line right there. I think that will, I'll put another one here in the middle. That's pretty obvious, 3 lines, 3 lines. Yeah, I think most people would recognize that's the way to go. So the first thing I see, there's the ground tab. It's not grounded. That's the whole power supply. So I'm probably going to start by doing a bunch of ground updates. I may boot this thing up, see where we're at. That's mounted, like all the Gottlieb boards, that's mounted off the board. So I'll probably make myself a little harness to go from here and maybe use the same eyelet there, or put it in that bolt there. Get this grounded, and then probably ground these other 2 boards back here also, and maybe take a ground from here back down to the transformer also. I believe that's the PinWiki guide for this game. I'm gonna review that. I've done it, but it's been a while, so I don't know if these new boards have a grounding tab built onto them or not. There's 5 volts. This says ground. I don't know. Is that whole trace ground? This is, I don't know what I'm looking at. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at. This is ground right there. I don't know what they're actually referencing. If it's those, that's plus 5 volts. I don't know. They can't both be. They look like they're both labeling that same trace, so I don't know. I know the PinWiki guides gives you references for a good place to pull a ground from these 2 boards on the original boards, and obviously this has got all new boards. So yeah, did I mention all new boards in this game, and it's still acting up, but none of it's very well grounded, I would say. Yeah, so I'll probably start there, but first I may play a game and see if I can see the symptoms that this guy said. He said it wasn't all the time, but it's intermittent kind of stuff, so that very much sounds like a grounding problem to me, and or connectors. All right, first smoke test. Okay, I think we're booted. Press the credit button. Maybe we don't have credits, I don't know. Do we even have switches? We don't have switches. Looks like there's credits on the game. It's booted up. I mean, we're in a track mode. but it is not firing up a game. Looks like it's got either 2 or 90 credits to me. 90 probably is the match. I don't know. Yeah, the switches are absent. Oh, there they are. That one didn't do anything. The other one is absent. I'm not registering. Let's see what the service switch does. Nothing. So we're kind of booted up, but not registering anything. I wonder if I've got all my connectors. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm missing a harness. Looks like I've got everything. I don't have J6 done. That's probably the one for the coin door. I bet it is. But so I got to reach down here and grab another connector out of the bottom of the cabinet. Sure enough, that's where it lives. Hopefully that is the coin door. I believe it is, and we'll find out here in a moment. Okay, one more time with feeling. No sound. It tried to kick a ball up. Throw a ball in real quick here. I got a ball right there. This is one of the balls he brought in. Nice and shiny. That'll work. He did mention something about the chimes were not working, or they're working intermittently. We're scoring. I believe those should pop up. Maybe we're waiting for the... They did not come back up. There they went. We might have been waiting for the CPU to catch up that whole time. I think this is one of those games where it's cycling, and actions can wait for the scoring to take place. So, well, we're booted. Get this thing back against the wall here. Get it off the cart. Tilt works. I just tilted it and game turned off. I would say that was very easily. Didn't hit it very hard. Start another game here. We're still involved. Tilted just from that. Well, shoot, I had paper sitting over the tilt bob, so that was probably that problem. Let's try this one more time. I'm not sure if these things are supposed to reset after one bank or if you got to do all the banks. Well, it's that's pretty sticky. He mentioned that. Let's see if it resets after the ball. Well, this is 5th ball, so it's not going to reset. So. It did reset. I guess I earned an extra ball. Okay. So it's kind of playing. No sound. Some of the solenoids are not working. I guess see, the pop bumpers are working. I guess that's all the solenoids on the playfield. The drop targets can work. They're probably not all scoring. Let's see. That one scored. That one scored. And that one scored. So all the 3 blue ones, they work. These might be the kind that have 2 different switches. One to score and one to let them know that they're down. I don't know because I haven't looked at them. Now that one did not score there. Yeah, some of those red ones did not score. So it could be that they've all got to be down before they come up. I kind of think that's the case on this, but I'm not positive. In any case, I'm just wasting time at this point. I need to go ahead and just start working through it and quit monkeying around and start with some of the ground mods. Check out I thought this had a cap down here in the bottom. I don't see one. Ooh, I do see something that's pretty ugly looking. That's real ugly looking. Do y'all see it? Right there. That's the kind of stuff. Man, something like that, just lay across like that. I'll fry some stuff. And that would go on one of the relays. One of those. And one of those is one's a game over and one's a tilt. They both seem like they've got a spring on them. That's what that looks like. Spring off one of those. I'll throw that in the coin box, maybe. Well, there's not really a coin box. I'll put it in one of his baggies. Just in case I find someplace where I need one of those. So somebody's done a lot of work on this game. They replaced that fuse. They put all new boards. They got it. Oh, I didn't mention the fact they've got 2 new harnesses. Let me get this. I should point this out when it's in the back box. This harness is brand new, and this harness here is brand new. So that eliminates a lot of the potential problems. So I think I'll go ahead and start by I'm gonna ground that one, and I'm gonna ground these other 2 boards. And I'm gonna read the guide. I think the best practices is to ground this down to the plate on the transformer down there, where all the solenoid return to, and so that everything has the same ground bias. And start there, and then work through the chimes and the pop bumpers and everything else. He said the chimes were intermittent, I thought. So yeah, I was thinking if they're intermittent, they might just be sticky. So they might just be, and it's kind of, he just pulled this off a trailer, so it's kind of cold. So if there's gummy stuff in there, they could be really gummy right now, just because it's still cold. Hadn't heated up yet. Like that one there. I don't know. Can't really see. It looks like the plunger is stuck up inside of there. Hold on a second. The plunger was not stuck up, but it was stuck down. I had to get a pick to release it. I mean, it was jammed down. I had to pull pretty hard. It's free now, but it's still sticky. So these just need to be rebuilt. When I say rebuilt, like it's got new grommets. It just needs new coil sleeves, and the plungers need to be taken out and cleaned. And like I bet that one there is going to start working now. At least, well, now it's stuck up in there. There it came down. So yeah, they just need to be. So he said they were kind of working. That's what I was thinking, and now I really think that. So these are probably good. I was looking at switches on this. Yeah, there's just one switch for each of these. Oh, that could be the spring that I found. One of those. So somebody has rebuilt and put new drop targets. They probably dropped one of those when they did it, because I see them. They're all here. They probably just lost one. Though, yeah, I bet that's it. So when they were redoing it, one went down the bottom of the cabinet. I've never done that before. So the other thing I'm thinking about maybe doing is, maybe y'all can't, it looks brighter on the camera than it does in person. These displays are pretty dim, and there's a little trick. You get a 9-volt battery and put some voltage across the, I I forget exactly, but I believe it's the outer two leads on this. And it basically, so if you look real closely, you can see these little lines going left to right. They're kind of like heating elements for like, I don't know. But anyway, it basically, those things will get hot when you put a little voltage across there, and it kind of like burns all the gunk and crap that's collected on them, and it makes them brighter. You gotta be a little careful. If you put too much for too long, you'll run the display. So it's a little bit risky, but probably worth it. Especially that bottom right one's very dim. It's kind of dim anyway. Part of the problem is these are actually, there's a ton of dust. So they've got these blue lenses on here, and they are really dusty. So just cleaning that's going to help a lot. But yeah, I think they probably need that done too, maybe. So I'm going to do things a little bit out of order. Normally I'd do the groundsman stuff first, but I've got a little bit of time, so I'm just going to go through these chimes real quick. Then just take this whole bracket off, and so I can get to everything. Take the tops of these up, take the chimes off so I can get the plungers out, or the chime bars, and then take this whole assembly apart so I can put some new sleeves in there. Here's the crux of the problem. I've got the chime bars off, nothing holding the chime plungers in there. They should just fall right out. They don't. They're just sticky and nasty. So anyway, kind of what you might expect. So I am going to disassemble this only as much as necessary. It looks like I gotta take this. They've got this whole thing soldered up, so there's not much. Oh wait, there's a plug right there. Maybe I could undo that plug, and then I'll only be fastened here by these two solder. I may just desolder that. Take this thing over to the bench and work on it. It'd be a lot easier. Sometimes you find problems unexpectedly, so I was going to use the service port here to desolder those, and I got no juice, so I'm guessing that fuse right there is probably dead. Can't really see it. Get my multimeter, I can see it. Yeah, I see it. It's broken right there. Well, maybe it's not. Put it in the multimeter and find out. I tell you, I think it's got one of these caps is loose. It's kind of, no, it's good. I don't know why that service port's not working. Anyway, it's not the fuse. All right, so there's 5 screws holding this whole bracket on. 2 at the top, then another 3 at the bottom. Oh, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And now you can really see what we're getting at. That's like, that is stuck. One of them came out. There we go. If somebody who's wanting to be lazy, one thing they could probably get away with, I'm not doing it, that's part of the problem, is you got beer seal that's stuck. So there's this beer seal that's meant to make it bouncy, but this is disintegrated and it's all over the end of this, and it just clogs everything up. So anyway, so get back to what I said. You might get away just taking the chimes off the top, spraying some alcohol in here, getting a screwdriver and working it up and down, and spray some alcohol, working them down. You probably get to work. If it's just in your house, you probably could do that, get away with it. But yeah, I want to fix it right for this guy. So I'm gonna take these apart, and there's a nut on the back side of every one of these. Just holding it with my other finger. Probably should just take it to the side so I don't break the bolt. I'll just stay in there. I'll give you another one. There you go. Put my finger on the back side of that so it just keeps spinning. Okay, they're all free. I might have to desolder these to get them out of here. That would be kind of a pain. I don't think I'll have to. Yeah, that would be a real pain if I have to do that to get this thing out. I may. That sleeve's got to come up down to the bottom. So I got to get this thing up and out of there. I'm just going to pull on it a little bit. There we go. If I break it, I can fix it. Okay. So these are going in the trash. I'll get 3 fresh ones. Because I don't know how much you can see down in there, but they're kind of nasty. I actually think the bigger issue is that beer seal on the bottom was just causing all kinds of problems. That one's been hot. You really should hold the back of this when you're pulling. If you pull it from right here, you're liable to just yank the whole thing apart. I've done that a couple of times. Yeah. Oof. These are really long plungers. These sleeves, I'm pretty sure I've got some. I'm not positive. In the meantime, I'm gonna throw these in the ultrasonic, get them all cleaned up with all that gunk. Found 3 new sleeves, just like those. Try to keep all that stuff on hand. And next, I'm just gonna, I guess I'll set these aside. Just scrape all this old beer seal off here and put in a new one. That has just disintegrated. Get a rag of alcohol and clean that a little bit better so it's smooth, so the new one will have a nice smooth surface to stick to. They don't tend to walk around because all they do is get beat straight down on, so they're generally not a problem. I kept saying beer seal. It's actually just like beer seal, except the chime bar stuff is a little so thinner. And it looks like somebody, actually that's 2 pieces of this. So one wore out and somebody probably didn't want to take it apart, so they just laid another one on top of it. But yeah, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and get these things, the new ones inserted, and one of them, that center one, that's an old one, put a clean one in. The middle one's going to be maybe a little difficult. Nope, not too bad. Okay, those are in. Now we just gotta get all these screws and bolts on. And I won't bore you with all this fun, but you know, just two there, two there, and two there. I'll get after it. All right, I got those bolts in there. Got my AKA beer seal in there. So I've got to mount this back in. Guess it goes like that. Stick in my 4 screws. And we'll be ready to, those plungers are cooking right now. They should be about clean. Get this thrown back in the game. Fire it up and see if we got some sounds. I hope so. If not, then we got bigger problems. I don't know if they're actually firing or not. I'm assuming that they were just stuck. But you know what Benny Hill said about assuming? I do. So I got that soldered back in there. And then the second time I soldered it in the right orientation. I didn't turn it on though. That's good. I got that mounted in there. I'm gonna throw my 3 chime bars in there, and they should slide in nice and easy. And the nylon part goes up, it hits the chime. Yeah, those are nice and slick now. You see them bouncing when they hit the bottom. That's good. And put chime bars in, and they do matter. The small one was closest to me here. And I'm gonna put on these 6 nuts, and we'll fire it up and see if we got some sound. All right, it's all together. Let's boot it up, see what happens. Smoke test. Whoa! I guess it does some chimes when it boots up. Well, that's good. Chimes are working. Let's start a game. I don't know if all 3 of them went. I think they did. Let me reboot it. Let me just make sure all 3 work. Yeah. I think I saw all 3 of them. So, mark that off the list. I guess we could add one thing to the list, the service port. The service port should be hot all the time, whether the game is turned on or not. Because obviously if you're soldering or something, that's one of the main reasons you have the service port in here is for your soldering iron. You're usually not wanting to solder with the game turned on. So I see that's grounded, that side. I think somebody has added these extra fuses. The PinWiki suggests to do that because this was an underfused game. And that's the fuse for the service port right there. So, I don't know. Maybe through putting these fuses in here, but something's not working. I don't know if the guy even cares. To be honest, most people when I pull up and work on the game and I plug in, I didn't know that was in there. 90% of people don't even know it's there, or don't even know what it's for. So that's probably not worth fixing for most people. Back to these chimes for a minute. It looks like I've only got, let me lower the playfield. Looks like I've only got the 10-point chime and the 100-point chime working. So I'll show you these. I think these are the. Oh, I see. It's 10, 10, 10, 10, 1,000. So the 10 and the 1,000 work. The 100 does not work. So I pulled the MPU and driver board. I'm gonna do the ground updates. I just made this little one here. This is gonna go, because the power supply sits right here. So it has got a ground lug. So I'm gonna go from that ground lug over to the cabinet, and then go from that same ground lug to this board and this board. I just looking on PinWiki, and they've got actually the suggested ground locations for these 9-watt new MPU and driver board. So I'm gonna just follow their suggestions. I'm gonna make up a couple little harnesses and do all this here on the bench, just because it's a little easier. By the way, I was thinking about the one chime not working, and not working in, well, one of the 1,000 not working rollover. I don't think it would work in rollover. I was thinking that's like EM math, not solid state math. I think the 1,000-point chime only works if you earn 1,000 point shot. I don't think it does the rollover, because then it would do both of them like an EM, and I don't think that solid states do that. So, but still, 100 points not working. Before I try to dig into that, I want to get everything else stable with the grounds, and because I'm gonna do that anyway, and that may very well take care of it. I've got this board pulled. I may just check all these transistors, just visually looking at them here right now. Nothing looks burnt on this board. I mean, it's a new board, or it was a new board, but it's had a few plays. So I'll probably just do a diode test on these real quick before I throw it back in, get this grounded out, and then start going through and fixing everything else up. So that's the first ground strap I just attached to that, which is grounded to everything else, and I'm gonna put that right there, and I'll go from here to those other two boards I got on the bench. I'm gonna solder those two on, and then I'll put another little loop on that other end. Well, this is the suggestion for the 9-watt, and this is the back of the board, and this is the board I've got here. It's also a 9-watt, but it's either a newer or an older one than the one showed on PinWiki, probably a newer version. But anyway, the third and fourth trace down, or those two there, they run to this main trace here. So I'm going to scratch off the green there and get down to the copper and put a wire right there at the end of my index finger, and that'll be good for this. So just get a screwdriver here and scratch this bare. Now I can solder a wire up to there, and on the other end of it, I'll put a loop on there. So this other end will get attached to the ground, the lug on the power supply. And that one's done. So now I'll figure out where, I think I was looking last night. I think it's right here, which will be real nice because I can just solder right through the hole. Look real quick. Yeah, it's I guess all four of those are the same, but on this one it looks like it's the bottom left. I think all those are tied together. In any case, that's what I'll use. So indeed, all four of those are tied together. So just gonna load up a little solder in one of them, tin up this wire. You know, would have been better, both of these, if I'd had the road wire going the other way. I think I'll just turn it around real quick. It's like I was going towards the MPU, except I'm upside down. Or the MPU, the power supply. I'll make things a little more clean, not having an extra 180-degree bend. You can see what I'm doing? Not really. I just desoldered this one so I can rotate it around so it's facing the right direction. That way when they're laying in the game, both these are feeding off over here, just a little cleaner, going over to the power supply. So I got the boards back in the game. I've got everything grounded to this lug here, and this is grounded to the cabinet. And all the cabinet stuff is all grounded together. What I don't know for certain is whether all the head is tied down the stuff at the bottom. I know when it wasn't a system 1, I don't believe, because I read the guide last night. It didn't say anything about grounding all this down to the transformer in the bottom, or the grounding plane of the return solenoids. And I know on some of the systems, Gottlieb systems, they say to do that. So I'm gonna just verify. I'm gonna get the multimeter and see if I've got continuity between this ground here and the ground in the bottom real quick. So I just jumpered one end of my multimeter to the ground lug there. I can kind of shut this and open up the play field, and we'll see what happens underneath. Got my multimeter on continuity, and I promise you I haven't touched anything yet. But first off, I don't see any grounding wires coming down here, not explicitly. So I'm gonna just fish around. Okay, hey, it is grounded somehow or another. So one of these wires is grounding it. That's good. So that's the return ground for the solenoids right there. So it's got a good ground. I'm not exactly sure which one it is exactly. I'm wondering if it's coming through one of those edge connectors is how it's getting its ground, because all these wires are plugged into the boards or the playfield. I'm half tempted to just run one more wire, just solder it in right here, or put it on a loop right there, just to really get a solid ground down here. I may do that. I don't remember which system I was working on, but it wasn't too long ago, and the last 6 months ago, and they explicitly said to do that. Might have been, I don't know. Maybe it's a Water World. I'm not sure. I think I'm not going to add that one extra ground. It's already grounded, and the Pinwiki guide doesn't really say anything about it, so I'm not gonna do it. So without further ado, let's boot this thing up. Yeah, maybe that was only 2 of them. I'm gonna look. 2 of the 3 chimes, that is. I'll watch real closely. I thought that second one went once. Yeah, it did go once, so it can go. Let me start a game. Sorry for the radicalness of the camera. See, it's doing hundreds, not scoring. Tens. In the thousands. Hundreds just doesn't score. Oh. Some of my targets don't score. So anyway. Spinner. Yep. Spinner is very sticky. He had mentioned that to me. Boy, that's one way to make a spinner work, huh? just to offset. So that may just be a lot of friction. It's nasty. He was mentioning the stickers or the paint's gone. Apparently there's nobody that makes those stickers, so it kind of sucks. So we're mostly up and running. But he said this game was up and running when he brought it in. It just that it was intermittent, and the chimes were very intermittent. So we've accomplished that. We may have fixed the intermittency with the ground updates. Who knows? Still have a chime out. I guess maybe I will look at the manual here, figure out which one of those transistors fires that chime, and start thinking around with that. Get that chime to work. So I've got it in solenoid test. Hear the ding, space, dong. So it's supposed to be ding, dong, dong. What's a little bit weird is the solenoids or the chimes that are going are solenoid 1 and 3. So it's not 3, 4, 5. So it's almost like it's a little confused. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So this is a CPU input here. It's going into this U4 chip, which is de-digitizing it and sending the signals out to each one of these individual pathways. So that's the one we're missing. So I might have to study this a little bit further. Okay, so I think I figured out what's going on here. So this is on the CPU. So this is basically telling the signal to generate a signal to go to the driver board. And so it's not sent encoded digitally, but there's one wire for each solenoid. So 100's chimes comes out J5 pin 7. Now there's J5. I don't know which end it starts from, but it's number 7. And then that runs over to here to the solenoid board. Yeah, so it comes in on J1. Here's J1 and the 100's chime. So it comes in on pin 19 of J1 and Q27. So the one thing we could do is we could ground Q27 and see if that 100's chimes. So we can find Q27 on here. Geez, pretty small print. Well, I get some spectacles and see if I can find it. So I just booted up the game, and this board is really cool. There's little LEDs on each one of these major solenoids that tells when it's fired up. So that solenoid was firing up. It was locking on. So what? Well, that's why that middle one, because that middle one, remember, it was real hard to pull it out of there. It's because it had been smoking in there. This thing's locked on. In fact, it's pretty hot right now. So that one's fried. And by the way, yeah, I said I was going to check all these transistors when I had the board out. I didn't. I should have. I meant to do that, but I didn't do it. But that one's toast. I bet money on it. But I'm gonna turn it on for just a second here, and see those others are light, and that one just solid on. So before I really melt that coil, I'm gonna pull this board, check this transistor, like I said I was going to before, and I didn't. Yeah, before even checking this multimeter, I can already see the heat stress on those traces. 0.3, that's not right. 0.1, that's not right. Yeah. No way, no. So it's coming out. Get this thing yanked out of here. Oof. Hot, hot, hot. All right, well, hopefully that's the extent of the carnage. I might check these other diodes, see, make sure they're okay. I guess I'll do that right now. Oh, those are resistors. Oh, there's the pre-transistor right there. I believe, anyway. I'm not reading anything on that. Okay, 0.6 like that. Yeah, okay, I just wasn't making, these surface mounts are hard to, so I think that's good. Let me see if I've got one of these. What is it? 13N10. All right, I swapped out that transistor. We'll put this back in the game. Before I plug it in, turn it on, I'm gonna check the resistance on that coil, make sure it's not shorted. It is firing, so it's not real bad short, or it wouldn't pick up that plunger, so I'm gonna check it either way. All right, so it's plugged back in the game. I just measured the resistance of the coil. They're all around 25. So I'm gonna fire it up, and I'm gonna keep watching up here, because if I see that LED light up, I'll know it's locked on. Okay, I think that fixed it. I saw it coming on and off, and it sounded a little bit better. Let's fire up a game here. See, at 500, these are the 500 points. I did that. Okay, so I think we've got most of the known problems fixed. The display's still got to be fixed. That center is pretty horrible. I think a couple of these red ones are not scoring. I think these first two. Yeah. That switch is not scoring. That switch. They're probably common, all these little 10-point switches. Could be one of them's closed all the time. Actually, let's do this. Let's start a new game and see if it gives us 10 points. See if it gives us 10 points to start a game. Did not, so maybe that's not it. Anyway, seems to be a lot happier now. What to do next? Maybe I'll work on these, try to figure out this switch issue. I didn't get that one yet. I think that's what I'll do. I think I went through and hit all the switches, didn't hit the out hole. Out hole works also. So everything, all the solenoids are going. The flippers. Haven't looked underneath. They sound healthy though. Yeah. So I was just playing with these drop targets, and this one, they all go down this. This one is like, it's really hard. Remember that spring we found before? I wonder if somebody lost a spring and found some other random spring and put on there. Like there's a huge spring. Because there's a ton of tension on that, like way more than these other ones. That's not the right spring, and I bet I know where the right spring is because I stuck it right over here. It's right there. I think that needs a new spring. So it's always good when you find a little part down under there. It probably goes to something. It probably goes to this machine. I think that's the wrong spring. And these two are not working. I think I'll do those two and try to make this thing work a little bit better. It's probably just nasty because it's got that huge friction surface. I guess this was a new attempt at a different way to do it. Maybe not the best way. I don't know how well this is going to show up. Maybe if I really zoom in. So there's a good spring. There's a good spring. And this is the bad one. It's actually looks to be thinner wire, but it's not the right spring. Unfortunately, that is not going to be an easy thing to get to. This is one of those ones that's got double springs on it, with these Gottliebs, and you kind of have to take these apart to get to it. If it was this one on the end, it wouldn't be so bad, but it's a middle one. And yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I may just get in there with a tool, dental tool, and yank it a little bit and make it a little bit weaker. Actually, and it could be, there's two springs on here. It could be the other one. I don't think so, though. So the other one is what pulls it. Let me, it's actually the other one that's the wrong one. It's that one. I don't know how much you can see. Probably not much at all. It's focusing. It's the one, the distance. That one there. That one is the one that holds it up there. And it's the wrong one, and it's too strong. But it really needs to be replaced because, yeah, that's an hour and a half. So I've got this pulled back away from the playfield, and it's that third one down is the wrong spring. I got some dental picks here. I'm gonna do my best to do some surgery on here and get that out of there, that third one back. It's way back down there. I can't reach with my finger. That's gonna be tough. Wish me luck. I'm not gonna film this because, yeah, the camera's gonna be in the way. So I got the old spring out, and it's exactly the same as the one I found at the bottom of the cabinet, so that's not gonna fix it. I did find another, just in my junk bin, I found one that's much weaker, a little bit longer, and I think that's gonna work in here because it doesn't need much tension. So I'm gonna do my best to get that in there. Wish me luck. Got it. Went in easier than it came out, if you believe that. Use these little kind of tweezers, kind of self-closing tweezers, snap it on there and just whoop, whoop. Okay, so that's that. So the other part of this was this switch and this switch are not working. And before I pulled this out of here, I like manually mash these things really hard, and so I don't think it's just dirty contacts. They share a common, one of the leaf blades is common with them, this wire, and it's coming off on, well, gosh, this is just so tight, all those wires. So this, I don't know if it's this one or it must be this brown one connects to that. So I may start by just jumping that to that and see if that's the problem. I don't know, but I'm gonna boot it back up and start trying to figure out exactly where the loss of continuity is, or it might be upstream. Okay, so I just jumpered that little leaf there to this wire, which is one side of both those switches. So I'm gonna start a game. These didn't go all the way up because the playfield's in the way. So let's see if this is score. That one should score. They still don't score. Let me hit the out hole. Okay, so now they should all score again because they only score once per ball, and I'm not sure if they went all the way up. So that's not. Let me get a screwdriver and just. not dirtiness. Take it one step further, go right to there. So it's upstream. Got a break somewhere. Well, I'll have to get out the schematics and see where this goes. Could be a bad most likely thing is a bad connector on the MPU, be my guess. Okay, so I pulled up the switch matrix and look what I find. Red 1 and 2 in the red drop targets, and oh yeah, the 10-point contacts is not working either. So that whole column is out. Well, assuming that's one, that the 2 are not working on 1 and 2, not 3 and 4. Let's just say that's the case, right? How about that? I'm gonna just take that leap of faith. Yeah, so this column is dead. So A1J715 is our culprit, maybe. Get out the logic probe and or just look at the pin and see if it's there. Maybe gone. I just pulled this A1J7 off. And of course it's not labeled. I mean, come on guys, it's like, this is a modern board. Label the dang thing. It doesn't cost that much ink to put a 1 and whatever the other side is in, so you know which way it runs. But I think I figured out which way it runs. Can you see which one of these is like that one there, the third one from the left? There's a pin in there, but it's broken. It's, I don't know what color that is, purple and light purple. I bet that's 15 from the other end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think we found our problem, Houston. Yeah. So I think that will get our drop targets and our 10-point switches going. What would you call that? Purple and gray, purple and white. Purple and white. Yep. Sure enough, so these kind of pins are particularly tough to get out of here. I do have a tool to get it out. Whether I could find it, I don't know. And you also have to have special Gottlieb style pins to put in here. I do have the pins to replace this with, and I do know where they're at. I'm gonna see if I can find the tool to get this thing out of there. Well, I didn't find the tool, but given it was already broken, it came out pretty easily. So I'm gonna snip it off, strip the wire back, and put on a new pin. Get the game booted back up. The 10 points are going, or the drop targets are going. 10 points are going. So that solved that. Spinner. This needs to be cleaned, I'm thinking. Should look at the switch underneath. It might be too tight. Probably get some of these tools out of here. I like to leave these everywhere. Let's look at that switch underneath. So this is the switch I'm talking about. So when you turn that spinner, if I can reach it, you really, if I can get it to, essentially want that coming down, just barely touch it. If it touches it and goes way over, it's just using a lot of extra energy to bend that piece of metal that you don't need. If it just, but that's not the real issue, because if it did that, it would be okay, it just wouldn't be great. It's really crappy. So I think it's just the friction on that top surface where it's going around, and it's just like a lot of friction right there. So I do some playing testing on this Sinbad here, and the owner told me when he's playing, sometimes it just randomly tilt. And I experienced that a couple times, and it seemed like the 2 times I saw it, it was in the pop bumpers. So I hit the pop bumpers. I couldn't get it to do it manually, but I was kind of thinking it was a pop bumper. So I opened up I was wanting to see if they both had diodes on them, because sometimes if they don't have that diode, it won't let the voltage back out of the systems, and it sends this big voltage pulse back through the system, and it can crash a game. That's why all these coils have them. And look what I found. That one there is not soldered on. It broke free, or it was soldered on, but it's gone. So I'm thinking that is the reason why the game is rebooting. Because he was saying it was tilt. It does. Thing is, the game comes up, and when you first boot up, it's in a tilted mode. That's just the way the game is. I believe it is anyway. Let me turn it off and turn it back on. I believe the tilt light is on. It's not. Well, maybe that's just an artifact of it crashing. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna fix that for sure right now. And really, the only way to know for sure in the long term is to have to play some pinball. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I believe putting that diode on there has fixed the issue. I've played several games, no more reboots. So this game is pretty much done except for little piddly stuff. I'm gonna adjust the flippers maybe. He wanted some new targets here. I'm gonna install those. He bought all new posts, so he's gonna put those on. He's got new rubbers. He wanted Jane to touch this up a little bit. I always want to keep it kind of under. And somebody has touched this up already. The yellow is not too awful bad. They got outside the lines. The orange over here is pretty bad. Yeah, they did a decent job, but that kind of, I don't know. So I'm going to try to get Jane to just rein herself in a little bit, not spend too much time on this. Just do like maybe the orange, yellow, and black. I mean, it could probably use a little blue up here, but honestly, if you get some black and black, a little bit of blue, you know, it kind of goes away. A lot of times, even if you do nothing but the black, it really, the rest of it, you don't see so much. Even on this, if you just filled in the black, the lack of the yellow, or the fact that the yellow doesn't match very well, it kind of goes away. The orange stands out. So probably just some orange, yellow, and black will go a long ways on this. I did notice that one should be a one-sided, so you get some bounce. You need some bounce. That ought to be an exposed rubber there. I'd mentioned the fact these were put in upside down. Doesn't really matter. Oh, the cool thing I found, I looked up the part number of this and just Googled it, see if anybody's got it. Nobody has it except for eBay. Somebody's selling one on eBay. It's a used one, but it's still got the art on it. He was wanting $20 for it or something like that. So when I went ahead and bought it, this just looks like crap. It'll look a lot better, and that's all dirty and nasty. But I'm not going to clean it because got a new one coming in the mail. So I still don't know if I'm going to burn these things or not. Because when I say burn them, put the 9 volts across the leads on them to kind of refreshen them, rejuvenate them a little bit. It's a little bit risky. Occasionally you can fry them if you go a little too long. I've never actually had that happen, but I know that it can happen. I may just start by cleaning them because they're really dirty. You can see just getting the dust off of them will brighten them up significantly. So anyway, maybe I'll keep this video going until James comes up here and gets this thing painted. She's gonna complain. It's like, I can't paint when there's all this stuff on the side. Just do your best, honey. Just do your best. All right, so back to a few more things on the Sinbad. It's been a couple weeks for me. I got in this spinner. It's not perfect, but man, that's a moonshot finding one of these on eBay. Basically in the same time when I'm working on one. I mean, it's like hen's teeth to find that sucker. So that's great. So I'm gonna throw that on there. I've got my new drop targets, or stand-up targets here. It's already got all new drop targets. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna adjust these flippers a little bit. It flips pretty well. And somebody has redone the flippers. They put new link guides, new drop targets, new pop bumper caps and skirts, it looks like. Somebody's done a lot of stuff. It's got new rubbers. So I'm gonna do those things. Probably put a new barrel spring on here because I doubt the guy's gonna have a barrel spring. That's how he's gonna refurbish this or recondition all the cosmetics, minus the paint and stuff that Jane's gonna get to. I'm gonna turn this over to Jane here after I get done with it. I'm gonna put a new spring on there, and probably while I've got this out, I'll go ahead and polish it up a little bit because it'll just, getting it out 90% of it, and running over the butter wheel just takes like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna do those 3 things today, or 4 things, and then I'm gonna probably just end this video. It's getting kind of long. I looked at it this morning, and it's already an hour, and this is gonna be another 5 or 10 minutes of stuff. So that'll be long enough. All right, I'm gonna start by taking off, drilling out the old rivet off the back of this stand-up target. And I'm not gonna have to undo anything. Wow, it'd been nice if I'd got a bit that wasn't completely dull. Let me go get a bit that's got some grit teeth on it. All right, one more time with a fresh, cheapo bit. So now I got this new stand-up target and 1/8" pop rivet. Got to orient it so that those 2 little nubs are sitting across the blade. And that's it. And now we got something that looks like that. So something looks like that. And it's a little bent down because I was monkeying with it, but that is easily reversed. Just bend it back. So now I'll do this other one. So I just drilled out this one, and those are those 2 little nubs, and those want to go across the 2 sides of the switch blade, or target if you like. Oh, this one's going to be a little bit of a... It's all right. There's enough flexibility in that blade, I think. I can get this. Sure enough. And then just bend it back a little bit, and it'll be good to go. All right, now let's attack our little spinner here. So let's see what we can do with this. So it's like I just take off one side of this. I think I'll take off this side. That way I can, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I need a screwdriver and a 1/4" nut driver, flat blade. Lift up this playfield, get the bottom, and take that little rod off the switch underneath the playfield. Well, this has got this set piece on here. I really don't want to mess with taking that apart. Let me see if I can just pop that off and pop the new one in and clean it on the top without undoing all this. So I'm looking at it, just that wire is just wrapped around. So it doesn't quite close. That's the end of the wire right there. So it just snaps in and out. So I'm just gonna snap that off. Try to snap it off. I got a little dental tool to kind of pry this thing a little bit out. There, oh, and there it goes. All right, well, it wasn't too awful bad. The Novus one is fairly safe on paint, but not 100%. It's about as safe as anything else. See that blue on there? It's not safe. So I cannot use this Novus one over that painted area where it'll look like the other one does. So yeah, I was afraid it might do that. Should have been a little bit more afraid. So it's just gonna have to be a little bit dingy, but at least it's got the artwork. I'll let that dry a little bit more. And I also want to, maybe I'll just take off both of these little pieces, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put, and maybe, really, well, I gotta get the wire out of there. I think I throw that wire in the ultrasonic. Actually, it probably, no, it can't. It's encapsulated, so it's got the loop on one end and it's got that hook on the other. So I'm gonna just clean it in place down there. Pick up the play field. Give it. Well, if I can get it back up above the play field, get it to stay up there, I'll get some alcohol and rag and clean that on the other side of the play field. Okay, I just cleaned the other side of that. I'm just gonna put some tape real quick here across there, just so I can flip this down and get it hooked on without the piece falling back through. Oh, don't let the ball hit it. See how well I did cleaning it. I may clean it a little bit more now that I can actually see it. All right, so I'll see if I can snap all this back together. Easier. Oh, there it goes. You know, that piece there, they're both kind of splayed out. I'm gonna get some pliers and just bend that little lever back this way just a little bit, because it's bent over and it's barely staying in there. One would expect that to be at a 90-degree angle, and it was bent over towards you guys. That looks a lot better. Well, and as soon as I say that, it busts out, but I don't have this tightened up yet. I think that's secure. Yeah, somebody like that. That is a brand new switch right there. Somebody's done quite a bit of work on this game. But still got a lot of friction. I wonder if that loop is just a little tight. Either that. Well, actually, I still have that masking tape. That could be the bind. It's not the best spin in the world, but it's 100 times better than it was. I think that's a pretty crappy design. You shouldn't have to lubricate that metal and plastic. But I could put a drop on either side where you got the metal going through the metal shaft going through the metal bracket here. I may just do that. Just a very tiny bit. A lot of times just one micro dot, and it will make a world of difference. It doesn't last very long. The least amount you can actually get on there. See, it's stuck upside down. But actually, you can still hit it when it's upside down, so it's not. I think I bent that a little too far. I think it's hanging out the other side. That's loose. I saw it move. That's much better. Not awesome, but much better. All right, let me raise the play field, and I'm gonna adjust these. Y'all can't see what I'm pointing at. Let me raise the play field, and I'm just gonna adjust these flippers so that it's like one big flipper. That way you get maximum chance to, because you forget that it's actually two, and you get maximum chance to die the worst death in pinball, the scissor flip. So I was going to lower these down to put them in line with the other ones, but they actually touch. I mean, the rubbers are stuck. So it's not meant to be like that. I thought I looked online and I thought I saw a picture where they were like that, but maybe not. These clearly can't be like that. They shouldn't be like this and then down. So sometimes they're in a straight row, or sometimes they're staged like this. That's not very, and normally when you have this bar here, well, they are, that's pretty much parallel. A lot of times the bottom edge of the flipper will be parallel to this metal ball keeper, whatever you want to call it. These are just meant so when the ball goes across, they don't bounce back. You don't get Lazarus. But actually should be slightly up, but not really. So, I don't know. You could make it like that, but that doesn't quite look right. And then you're going to then it's going to be pitched up really high. You can catch every single thing. I'm kind of thinking maybe just keep them the way they are. Maybe I'll look at a picture from the flyer and see how they were on the flyer, because that's the way they ought to be. So here's a photograph of the flyer on IPDB, and they are pretty much in line. This is the best photo I could find of it. So the tip of the upper is just above center line, the base of the lower. So they should be about like that, and like that they are touching, so it'd have to be a little bit higher. So they'd be about like that in that photograph. So I'm gonna make them about like that, which means the lower one, the top of it is, the top edge there, the straight edge is pointing to the bottom of the same player shoots again. So I'm gonna start with the bottom flippers, get them adjusted, and then do the top ones. So that looks a lot more natural. I like the way that looks. I think it's gonna play a little bit better, and that is certainly gonna gobble some balls. I mean, holy shit. Beware of the scissor flip. So I'm got one more thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just put a new plug on here. Just cut that off and put on better replacement plug, and then I'm hand this thing off to Jane, let her do her business. Then I'll probably do some play testing once she's done with that. Oh, still gotta do this. There's always one more thing, always. So I fixed that plunger, new barrel spring, got that all polished up, new rubber tip, whole thing's cleaned. Put a new power plug on there, that yellow one. Last thing I'm gonna do here, I keep adding things, is I'm gonna try to cook these displays a little bit. They're all pretty dim. I know it's probably hard to tell. The flashing is not real, but so I'm gonna hook 12 volts. Let me turn this game off. I'll go ahead and take these off. It's probably a good idea. I'm gonna hook 12 volts across the outer twomost pins on this display. And what that's gonna do is these little lines, little filaments on there, they're gonna glow red, and that's gonna burn off all the crap on there. And usually that's gonna allow them to be brighter. So I'm gonna hook it up, and then I'll start plug it in and start filming. I got some jumpers hooked up there, and that's hooked up to this little 12 volt power supply. I'm gonna hook it up there for about 12 seconds, and we'll see what it looks like as it's going. Oh, see it's starting to glow red. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll unplug it. And we'll just go ahead and move on to another one. If I can get that undone. All right, I've done all 4 of them now. I'm gonna turn it back on. They look brighter to me. Probably can't tell on the phone. Let's put it behind the... Definitely, that one you can definitely tell a difference because that one was like super dim. It's still a little dimmer than the others, but it's way better. They're all a little bit brighter, but that one's way better. So I think that one just needed it more. So anyway, I'll call that a success. All right, so I'm calling it quits with this game. Jane's gonna do some touch-ups, and I think I'm not gonna film that because, you know, she ain't here and I wanna finish this video up. But I do wanna play some pinball, so I'm gonna do a little quick gameplay video here if I get the door shut. So without further ado, let's play a little Sinbad. It's pretty flat, by the way. Cool might be. Poppers are popular. Poppers are super popular. Ooh. Evil outlet. Oh, jeez. Great game. Okay. Okay, it's 5 ball at least. This one should be 5 ball. The game is vicious. I want to hit that spinner.
Ball Deluxe.
Lane guide's kind of sticking out there funny. Wow, that was horrible. I'm going one more. I can't do worse than that. Well, I can. I'm not going to. Reasonably decent spinner now. I think it stops upside down. It does it. This will correct it right here. Upside up, never mind. It's one of these things where you can think about it, just don't do it. Oh. Yeah, you don't want to flip a little bit less than you want to in this game, because it's going to kill you. Oh, see, that was too much flipping. That was just craziness. Flippers are stout. I didn't rebuild them and they don't look that great, but man, they are viciously strong. See if I can get to 100,000. How about that? Or not. So what does it take to light up those top? I saw one light there. Yeah, they do work. I just really suck and didn't get any of them lit. I think most of these lights work. That one works. That one works. Does that one work? I think all those work. The green lights, they all work. Is there one hiding there? No. So I think that's the only bulb that's out. Actually, that one there's 2 bulbs. I may check those out. There's always one more thing, you know. All right, so I fixed that bulb and I fixed that bulb. They were both just bad sockets. So it's just solder up the socket. And so I am walking away from this thing. Give it to Jane. I keep promising I'm doing it. This time I'm doing it. So I'm saying manana. I'll see you later. Subscribe. Mash the like button. Whatever you want to do. This guy says subscribe. Can you hear it say it?